fellow Kenyans, it is evident that there is a big problem with our security officers, as these tragic shootings are not isolated events. Not long ago, when Kenyans marched for Maandamano, 75 people were killed because certain police officers opted to fire live bullets into peaceful crowds. This is a return of a police force instead of a police service, contrary to our Constitution. Despite the publicly recorded crimes, the murders of the 75 victims are yet to be investigated and the perpetrators brought to justice. We have not forgotten, and we will never forget. As Azimio, and on behalf of the people, we demand that Inspector General Japheth Koome and Nairobi Regional Commander Mr. Adamson Bungei immediately tender their resignations for failing to protect the peaceful demonstrators. We also demand that the Director of Public Prosecution bring charges against Koome, Bungei, and their rogue officers for the murders of Rex and the 75. All Kenyans' lives matter, and our police service just know that one day you'll be held accountable for all their lives lost. We further demand that all protesters detained illegally by state security agencies be released immediately and unconditionally. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, June the 20th, 2024, 115 members of the National Assembly voted to reject the Finance Bill 2024. They stood in solidarity with the majority of Kenyans who have used all platforms available to categorically say no to the punitive and irredeemable bill. A number of them are here with us, and we congratulate you, Waheshimiwa. And our coalition honors their contribution on the floor of the august House. It did not go unnoticed. You are indeed the patriots. Inexplicably, the other 204 MPs stood against the nation. They are the traitors and the exemplification of the biggest betrayal to Kenyans. They are the generation's personification of the home guards who helped the foreign colonials occupy our country and enslave our people, just like those sullied home guards. The 204 have turned a blind eye and deaf ear to the social, political, and economic injustices perpetuated on all Kenyans by this contemptuously inept regime simply for material gain. To the 204 traitors, Kenyans know your names, your homes, your relatives, your businesses, and your mobile phone numbers. More importantly, they will use all constitutional means available to inject you from the august House. We thank the media for publishing the lists on how your MPs voted. As a coalition, we urge all Kenyans whose members of parliament voted for the bill to begin the process of their recall. They are dishonorable members. We further ask Gen Zs to develop innovative and creative ways of expediently and accurately effecting this. We're also reminding them that very soon the people of Kenya will be choosing the ballot. The 2004 members and the 30 absentee cowards should prepare to go home because they will never be the electorate's choice. As members of the legislature, you have stood on notice. So too should the executive. The Gen Z are coming for you. In just under 2 years, the Kenya Kwisha has contrived to impoverish Kenyans. It is a cunningly clueless regime that has arbitrarily increased the cost of living and the tax burden, leaving Kenyans jobless and penniless. Manufacturers have and continue to close up shop and flee Kenya. Foreign direct investment has substantially decreased. And instead of investing their hard-earned monies in the building industry to grow economy, Kenyans in the diaspora are sending back their dollars to sustain their families at home. In under 2 years, Kenya's coffers have been drained by shameless corruption. The Finance Bill 2024 has budgeted corruption at 1 trillion Kenya shillings. This is a deliberate act of treason. Over the last few years, Kenya, the region, and the world have witnessed our children rise against the Kenya Kwisha regime. From Nairobi to Kisii, Eldoret to Thika, Kilifi to Kakamega, Mombasa to Embu, Nyeri to Garissa, Machakos to Lodwar, and Nanyuki, Embu to Wajir, and Mandera to Kirinyaga, and many regions across our country. Gen Z have braved the weather's cold front and punishing brutality of the security agents to publicly register their disdain for the Kenya Kwisha regime. They held up placards and sang in one voice, "Ruto must go, Zakayo shuka." These are not cloud chasers concerned with growing their TikTok numbers, as alleged by the Kenya Kwanza regime and its sympathizers. Their images have not been photoshopped or generated by AI. The Gen Z on the streets are your authentic constituents. To Zakayo, your employers have said enough is enough. They want you to go home today and now, not on August 10, 2027. Fellow Kenyans, this is the Kenyan spring, courtesy Gen Z. We are witnessing an organic and tribeless collective gathering of our youth who are tired of KK's wealth of bottomless lies, corruption, and disdain. Hour by hour, their numbers grow. This is a significant turning point in the history of our nation, comparable to Sabasaba Day. We note that Kenya's Gen Zs are issue-driven and non-violent. They demand transparency from authorities and